Right, hello again. I wanted to do a little video today about comparing relatively old school bikes compared to more modern ones. I was on the Honda Hornet today 600, which is a relatively old school bike. It's got carburetors, no electronic rider aids, no ABS brakes, nothing. Part of the reason I enjoy riding these older bikes is because I have to rely on my own riding skill to ride them. I don't have any backup plan, sort of thing. Which is what I enjoy. It's part of the enjoyment of motorcycling for me. Is the skill that's required to ride a bike. I don't want to just give that up in favour of a load of electronic rider aids that they have on the modern bikes. So that's one aspect of it. Plus, as you can see on the roads these days, we got whereas road services, we got average speed cameras quite often. Say deteriorating road surfaces, more speed limits, slower speed limits. So my argument is, what do you need all the latest technology for on the road these days? You're never going to be able to go fast enough to take advantage of it, really. I mean, there's a lot of bikers on this road with more modern bikes, but they're not getting anywhere any faster than I'm getting there, sort of thing. I'm doing just as well on the road as they are. They're paying a lot of extra money for a bike that they can't use any of the performance of, really. So I don't think they get the same amount of enjoyment out of them that I get out of my bike. The other aspect to it is being able to do all my own maintenance on the bike as well. Any bike that you have to plug a computer into it to find out what's wrong with it, it's not something I'm interested in at all. I want to be able to do everything on the bike myself and keep it maintained, because it's part of the enjoyment of motorcycling for me, being able to work on my own bikes. That's not something I just want to give up. Take it to a bike shop to have everything done like other people just seem willing to do. There does seem to be a lot of closed-mindedness in motorcycling these days, that people think, well, I don't need to work on my riding skills, the bike can do everything for me. I don't need to be a mechanic, I don't need to worry about servicing my own bike. That's somebody else's job to do that. So that's it. That's the end of the argument as far as they're concerned. They close their mind off to it. So these two guys in front of me are on a lot more expensive bikes than I am, but they're not getting anywhere, are they? Even the previous bike here, on the GSR 600, which was a fuel injected bike, even when you lift the tank up, you realise how much more complicated it is to work on. Fuel pump under the tank there, even the fuel tank's starting to go a bit rusty underneath. People have this idea that fuel injected bikes are infallible, they'll just run forever and nothing ever goes wrong with them. But people who say that have never taken one apart. If you look at the state of the throttle bodies, they're going filthy inside already. Bike's only done 12,000 miles, so they're not infallible. The injectors can clog up. Often the fuel pumps are dirty because they never get serviced. A lot of this stuff never gets serviced, you see. People just think, oh, they just run forever, nothing never goes wrong. They're riding around on bikes that are badly serviced, badly maintained. They're not getting the proper performance that they should get. By comparison, these are the carburetors that took off me Honda Hornet. See how clean they are. I can clean those and put them back and tune them, play around with the jets on them, do what I like with them, really. It's all more of the hobbyist side of motorcycling. And back on, I can balance them. I can do all lots of stuff with a set of carburetors that I can't do with the fuel ejection. So the point here is trying to make us an old bike that's well maintained is going to be better than a new one that's badly maintained. Yeah, part of the reason I started doing my own maintenance on bikes was the poor servicing you get from dealers anyway. I mean, even in the early days when I used to buy a brand new bike and I'd have one or two problems with it, and they'd come up to the first service or something, and I'd tell them, oh, the brakes are squealing a little bit, or I've got a bit of a rattle here and there. Said, yeah, right, we'll sort that out for you with the service. So you get the bike back after having it serviced, and the same problems were still there. You know, they hadn't bothered. The brakes were still squealing, and all the other little problems that you had with the bike that they said they'd fixed, and they never did. Although I got fed up with this, so I'll start doing it. If I want a good bike, I'll have to just do it myself. So I started off just doing basic stuff, and then more and more advanced stuff. So part of the criteria now of buying a bike is I have to buy something, and if I can't do everything on it myself, then I'll just reject the bike. If the modern bikes are too complicated now for me, that's the way it's going. Apart from that, the modern bikes are way too expensive for me anyway. I couldn't. There's no point in me test riding them. I'm not going to be able to afford the really expensive prices and the expensive servicing and all the other costs of them. I'll get more enjoyment out of an older bike anyway, so there's no real point. I'll stick to what I know now. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say for this video, so I'll end it here and I'll see you on the next one.